Today is Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. I've been doing this, looking into these communities by basically living on the street. Uh, I have an LLC. I'm not going to tell you what that is, um, but I do have one particular LLC, and my LLC is listed in my name, and it is but it's listed a certain application for street operation, and as well as listed IRSCI. Um, so, because that's what I'm putting a documentation of, and the streets are beautiful tonight. Like, it's very nice weather. I go into work tomorrow. I normally wake up here at 3 o'clock. I pack down my plastic. I wrap myself in plastic over here, and I sleep really nice. And I wrap myself in plastic, and then I go. I normally put my stuff, hide my stuff, and then I go in and until I get a storage unit. But I'm not sure if I'm going to stay here. Um, Whether I'm in Texas or in North Carolina is none of your business, unless you're somebody that is important. But I normally put my stuff in a storage unit, and then I go and I go into work at 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, but I get there because I walk my way into work. So I normally wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, pack down my stuff, then I go into work and I work for this. So I'm not crazy. If I get work, I get work. That's what's up. Um, but as far as that, but I live in the streets trying to figure out information about what's going on because I got involved in a world where I got into satellite, and I hear like satellite telecommunications nodes, but they're like on a extremist node, and I was like, well, what? And at first you would think you're schizophrenic, but you're not. You'd almost think that you're going crazy, and it's crazy enough to kill you. And I've lived like this for 5 years, trying to figure out what this is, and hit the street because like a lot of street stalkers were getting me, and I was trying to understand what it is. And I come down to the conclusion that okay, within Homeland Security, say this is Homeland Security, say this is the California ziggurat. So within the ziggurat of California, you have two mergers, a lot of different mergers of groups that are going into Homeland Security for but there's all kinds of nodes. So you have like this group right here. This group right here would be considered like Cal Gang. And Cal Gang, so Cal Gang start right here and it plugs in, but then when it meets, you have Homeland Security coming in right here. So Homeland Security right here then would plug into Emerson AI, and then it would plug into Emerson Collective. These are satellite programs that do, if you look up on the internet, these satellite programs do connect to Cal Gang, but they're all within the ziggurat of California. So, but this right here is extremely important. This is beneficial, but they have the capability of extreme. It's aerospace. It's everything mixed, and they have the ability to basically open your mind. And it's not sci-fi. It's right there within the CIA. Like if you look up CIA files, psychotronic harassment, psychotronic, anything like the Gateway Project by the Monroes. That's not conspiracy. When it's on the CIA website, it's fact. They don't pay to make up conspiracies on the CIA website. Let me tell you this much: they do not pay. The United States is not dumb. And they're not dumb enough to post something within the CIA website on CIA.gov if it's not fact. Whether you think that it's believable or not, if it's posted, it's factual. Let's get this right. Okay, so the ability to be able to broadband into people and like monitor them is possible, and that's Homeland Security. And you're not supposed to be able to like attack a person of the United States. You're not supposed to like now. If they were foreign, they didn't have a green card. You could go into their mind, and there are certain groups that consider themselves sovereign, and they would use some systems like this to basically get this person to go back home because they don't want to get their green card. They're legally here, and they need to monitor them. And some groups think that they can go outside of that, and they can send them home through harassment. I got put into this program because um, I was like, I don't know, like I was in a place and I don't know if somebody thought I was Jewish or like I don't know what this is, but I'm born here, and I don't need a green card. And also what could have done this too is I was supposed to get 25 years in prison um, when I went to Baltimore because I got into an incident where I got kicked out of a club, and then like 2 days later got burnt down. I had nothing to do with that, and maybe some Italians were trying to rack it, because once the place burns down, if there's the Italians involved, they more than likely they're gonna try to get their money's worth, because that's standard. You see all these people out here. If you're a let's be honest, if you see somebody crash into their car, they're like, I'm gonna get insurance settlement, and they give them like 500, and then they get they keep 200, So, but that's how it goes. Even though it never costed 500, because if they can get it for a lower deal, that's how maybe this is what this goes. But that's over with like that. So I'm just kind of confused. But inside my telecommunications, they're like, well, we thought that you were Jewish, and I'm like, no, I'm not Jewish. Um, and why would that even matter to send me home? And why would you have the right to plug into this system if you're Homeland Security and you're a professional? Homeland Security can easily pick up a piece of paper and be like, look, he is not Jewish. What is the problem? And so it's just, I think it's just a murder campaign, and satanic. And I'm not spiritual. It's just it's a satanic military, and I believe it comes out of this system being overshadowed by this system. And this system right now is called Mapping Militant Projects, and it's with the National Science Foundation alone. And they built this, and I think they're endangering all of Homeland Security's system, and it looks transparently like it's supposed to be something good for the Department of National Intelligence to be able to monitor communities, but to give them a military node to overshadow ours, no, I don't think that's really that good. And plus, this is all over the world fact. Then you moved around to you take this Mapping Militant Projects and control. You're running an alternate node fact on potential 4,000 node satellites. So there's like Starlink and all that shit, and you've given the extremists the ability to run what you can't see, within the Department of National Intelligence. This is not good. But what I want to talk about too is interesting thing. I was looking into some things in my life, because within this program of Homeland Security, this is supposed to monitor gangs within the prison system, and it's supposed to offer you even a lifestyle that's a beautiful lifestyle. If you were a gang member and you have a certain way of thinking, and they can hook you up outside of prison, and essentially a way that's productive. That would be like Central Intelligence, but it would be like some other form. It would be some other form of giving you a second chance, with people that are like-minded, to do legal things, but to do something that helps. So like even anyways, what I was saying though is this: but with this satanic military, Temple of Blood, and now the Order of Nine Angels being unleashed, from the Baptist Church, because the Pentecostal Church bought this Temple of Blood within this Mapping Militant Projects. Um, the Temple of Blood has a lot to do, if you read with their own profiles, and with Order of Nine Angels, that is illegal. The Order of Nine Angels is an illegal terrorist group. Mapping Militant, Temple of Blood within mappingmilitant.org is supposed to be, was an informant. They're no longer an informant, so I don't know how they got so much power. They shouldn't have that power still, as far as I'm concerned, if they're not current informants on B4 payments. But this right here would be, these two groups focus on tactics that use child pornography, rape, murder, just terrible shit. But here's the deal: with this group, if they open up an investigation on somebody within the Bureau of Investigations or any of the FBI, this is like okay, because they're okay. If they open up an investigation on somebody right here, this person is accused. What if this person was accused of heinous crimes of like rape or murder? Specifically rape. I'm going to deal with this one right here. This guy is under an investigation for being a rapist, right? So, and they're using EEG and BCI, trying to say, like, having voices beam down to him, and they're saying like I just got raped, and then they're trying to jog his memory, like trying to figure out what is this, because they're trying to monitor it. But if this guy is a rapist and they're monitoring him and they're trying to get him to rape certain gangs or gangs, and they're trying to get them to rape certain gangs, I've been told in this satellite world that this person over here is wearing blue, so they have a let's say a culture that allows you to rape. I was told to rape a girl at work, and I was like, from somebody, and this person was like telling me that that's what they liked, as far as, because their color and their lifestyle, their color, their gang. One, I'm not in their gang. I don't know even if that's true, and even if so, that's still not been. That's still weird. I don't know why somebody would think that that was acceptable. Maybe it is in the prison system, but it's not acceptable out here in the real world. And then more often, is the FBI or the Bureau of Investigations opening up an investigation on a rapist and then telling these people that it is okay to rape the subject, and then this person goes on raping and murder, like getting people pregnant or just raping people or raping, like, imagine one rapist getting like 10 girls pregnant and then they kill them with satellite harassment. What would you think that how would you think that organization would run? Say it was like the parent program from like Scientology's racketing, because that's what I looked it up on Google and it says science. What I looked it up, I said transparency on Google. I said Google, what does Scientology racket the most out of? And it said the parent program. So if you have this person doing an investigation with the Bureau of Investigation and they're raping people and they're having kids, yes, this person might not even know that they have any money coming in, but because this person is dead, they would open up a tort. A tort is not a criminal crime, so they don't have to mention to this rape subject, they don't have to mention to this victim that there ever was a payment. God forbid this is really happening in the world. Because the reason why they would never have to mention to, like, even though this person has a kid, because the FBI was running an investigation on, well, with a satanic military order that's telling them, like, well, it's like, because she was in prison and we had paperwork from the Cloven Hoof and all this shit, and we know on application she was this culture and she engaged in this because she wanted protection, but now you're trying to tell this rapist that he has the rights to do all this, and yeah, so they're monitoring him and like until they get him, and then he's killed or he's imprisoned. But he's raped about 10 fucking girls through this investigation, and they have kids. Could the Bureau of Investigations be running torts behind these people's backs out the parent program? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they are, but it's a good question to ask, because it would be like, well, in courts, the subject was raped. There is no criminal crime. He's dead by satellite harassment. So since he's dead by satellite harassment, or he's in prison and he's subdued, now we're running Bureau of Investigation is running a tort for the aid of this woman. But since it's not a criminal crime, she's never addressed. Hypothetical situation. Um, Thank you for listening. And if you are within the FBI stuff, just see if there's any torts going towards a criminal investigation within the Bureau of Investigations. It would be very odd, or within Homeland Security, it would be very odd to see if these women would be extorted in such a way from the parent program, and that's how that racketing was working. But again, thank you for listening.